This is one of the most bizarre, grotesque, and petty moments in religious history. It is known as the Cadaver Synod, or the Synodus Horrenda. It took place in Rome in January 897 AD, a time when the papacy was less like a church and more like a season of Game of Thrones. The context: a grudge beyond the grave. Pope Formosus had been dead for 9 months. He had been an effective, albeit controversial leader who navigated complex political alliances. When he died, he was buried with honor. His successor, after a brief 15-day interim, was Pope Stephen VI. Stephen was not just a rival. He was a man consumed by paranoia and hatred for the faction Formosus represented. He wasn't satisfied with Formosus being dead. He wanted him destroyed legally and spiritually. So Stephen VI ordered the grave to be opened. The event: the trial of the corpse. In the Basilica of St. John Lateran, a full formal trial was convened. The courtroom was packed with bishops, nobles, and cardinals. At the front of the room, sitting on the papal throne, was the rotting corpse of Pope Formosus. The setup: the body had been pulled from the ground, dressed in full, glittering papal vestments, and propped up on the throne. Because the corpse could not sit up on its own, it was likely tied to the chair or propped up by unseen attendants. The defense. Since a trial requires a defense, a terrified teenage deacon was assigned to stand next to the rotting body and answer on its behalf. The prosecution: Pope Stephen VI paced in front of the corpse, screaming at it. He would shout questions like, "Why did you usurp the universal Roman See?" The smell in the basilica was reportedly overpowering. As Stephen screamed accusations, the deacon, shaking with fear, would lean in, pretend to consult the corpse, and stammer out a defense. The verdict and the horror. Unsurprisingly, the corpse was found guilty on all counts. But the verdict wasn't the end. It was the beginning of the desecration. The fingers. Stephen ordered the 3 fingers of Formosus's right hand, the benediction fingers used to bless the people, to be hacked off with a knife. The robes. The sacred vestments were ripped from the rotting body, revealing the hair shirt, a rough undergarment, underneath. The disposal. The body was dragged through the streets of Rome and initially dumped in a common grave. Unsatisfied, Stephen had it dug up again and thrown into the Tiber River, the ultimate insult, as it meant the former pope could not rest in consecrated ground. The aftermath. Instant karma. The spectacle was too much even for the hardened people of Rome. The cruelty of putting a decomposing body on trial caused a public uprising. Rumors spread that the body of Formosus had washed up on the riverbank and had begun performing miracles. Before the summer of 897 was over, Pope Stephen VI was deposed by an angry mob. He was stripped of his title, thrown into prison, and strangled to death in his cell.